15 to 20 or some extra hours through the week because you got another means of income in your business, or you just want some extra income, besides your 40-hour-a-week job or whatever. I'm going to be throwing some apps out there that you can look into, and I'm going to just explain which cities and which states these apps are available in, so I don't want to mislead nobody. And they say, yeah, I got the app, but that's not in my city. So I'll be giving you some information on that, so stay tuned for that and everything. So I'll be putting some jobs out there, that it is some employment out there. It's a lot of employment out there. I'm going to be throwing them out there on this podcast periodically, okay? Now, I'm going to do this on this podcast, but my other podcast that, Connecting the Dots, is strictly Bible study. I will have ads coming through some of my Connecting the Dots Bible study, but it's mainly from the company that I will be lifting up the ads, and I'll be lifting up podcasts, because I think podcasting is a good vehicle to get your message out there. Not only your Christian message, but whatever message you have that's going to encourage people to get your message out there, whatever's on your heart. I think podcasting and radio, especially today, because of the affordability of it, is a great way to get your message and get your substance out there, okay? But my next one I would be throwing out there is how to get into these jobs, how to find these jobs, especially if you're a freelancer or even you just want some extra income. They're out there, and I'm going to prove it by showing you some apps to download, only on your phone, and you go from there, okay? All right. I got that out there. That'll be coming in a couple of days. All right. Okay. My 4 phase. Remember my 4 phase I was talking about? I was talking about my 4 phase, this phase that I created for myself, to give myself, it's called the 4 phase. And what it is to better myself spiritually, physically, financially, and mentally. Better myself physically, spiritually, physically, financially, and mentally. That's the 4 phase that I'm going through right now. You can look at the acronyms right there, but spiritually, financially, physically, and mentally, okay? You don't have to be in that order, but I use it in the order as spiritually, physically, financially, and mentally. I get confused sometimes because, I don't know, I say it so many times, but I still get confused. But you know what I mean. Well, anyway, that's what I'm working on. So far, I'm going to go back one by one. Spiritual is working pretty good. I read my word, I try to study as much as I can, but not enough. I still need to grow in that and everything, studying my word and getting more prayer, especially prayer. I need to do much better in prayer and everything. So I've been doing that majority of the time, I would say, but I still need to do more than that because I want to get more time and studying and more time in prayer. I need to get better in that in my life, okay? All right. Now, physically, I'm doing much better. I've been on this low-carb diet. I cut the sugars out and I cut the breads out, and I'm doing pretty good on that. I went over the keto flu, they call it. So I'm over the weakness right now, what goes along with the keto flu. You ever heard of the keto diet? I'm not on so much of the keto, which is a pretty good diet, but because it's strict. You got to be on a strict diet to get on the keto because they're really strict on that diet. It's more close to the Atkins. If you heard of the Atkins diet, what started everything. So I'm on the low-carb diet, and I'm doing pretty good. I cut on a lot of bread, and I cut up on, bread, period, and I cut up on a lot of refined sugars. So, that has helped me and everything. And right now, today, I lost about 19, 20 pounds, within going on a month. Within a month, I lost about 19 to 20 pounds. I weighed myself today, and I lost another pound. A slow week, but, at least I didn't gain anything. I lost a pound, so I'm doing pretty good on that. Right now, today, I lost 20 pounds. I should say about 19 pounds in a month so far by cutting sugars and cutting all the breads and stuff like that. And eating low carb, not strict like keto, which I'm not knocking keto. That's a good thing, You can do keto for 7 days, get off of it, and just stop picking up your carbs. But this is more like a low carb and more like an Atkins that I'm on, which I like better, because I can eat more, I like to eat. And I can add more fruits to the Atkins than you could on the keto, But look at both of them. They're pretty good, if that's for you. If you get through the keto stage, the keto flu of your body transaction, eating fat and steady sugars, you'll get through it. Most people fail because they feel weakness in their body, which is going to happen when you're on either diet, but that's because of the transformation of your body. Don't mean you're sick and you're dying, just mean your body transforming in a better position of eating fats and steady refined sugar, okay? All right. So I'm doing pretty good at that. Lost 19 pounds, and I got 30 more to go. My goal is to lose 30 more pounds, and from there, okay? 30 more to go. All right. Financially, like I already talked about fighting, what I'm doing as far as my job. I still work a 40-hour job and everything. I'm trying to get away with that. I'm going to get into freelancing, that I can choose my own jobs. That's why I threw that out there too. So I'll be mostly transitioning from a 40-hour job, which is happening within 4 to 6 weeks now. I gave myself a window, 4 to 6 weeks. The transition from a 40-hour week job to more like freelancing. Then I'm going to transition from freelancing to full-time business so I can do full-time ministry. My number one goal is to do full-time ministry, to do my own podcast and do my own radio, and being supported by different things and different freelancing venues and businesses like that. That's my goal. Within this year, that's my goal, to be do full-time ministry. Number one goal, full-time ministry, and do my business part-time, and just work for myself so I can do my full-time ministry, get God's word out there, So I'm headed in that way as far as financially, so it's looking pretty good that way. Okay, slow, and I got to be patient, but it's working pretty well. Mentally, I'm doing better. And I mean, maybe that got to do with the low carb, or the way my new way of eating. I don't like to call it dieting, but my new way of eating now. So that's doing okay in itself. So mentally, I'm doing pretty good. I still try to work out. I still struggle sometimes in my thinking, and mentally, and I still struggle sometimes in anxiety. And a lot of it got to do with I had some breathing issues the other day, and I know it has to do with that mask, because it's a really negative thing about wearing those masks. And don't knock me about the mask and everything. Yes, I am anti-mask, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm just against these masks because it's not stopping nothing. It don't even stop a cold. So, and I have proof of that. Even some doctors prove that. So I'm not knocking you if you wear a mask, and don't knock me. It ain't gonna change nothing. But I do respect the mandates of the mask when I'm just riding on the bus. I don't drive too much because of my eyes. I don't see very well, so I ride the bus, so I catch a lift, mainly the bus. But I am anti-mask, and it's really affecting my breathing when I put that mask on and everything. So, as far as that, and that's the only thing I have struggled with sometimes when I be on that bus and I got that mask on. So I just take it off my nose, man. I'm sorry. I'd rather just breathe freely than have that thing on my face. But I do respect the mandates, and I respect the ones that don't like wearing the mask. Just respect the mandates. We still gotta respect the mandates of different companies like that. And I do that, but I do not like it. I'm just being straight up. I don't like wearing those masks. I think it's defeat the purpose, and I think it affect your breathing and your respiratory system more than help. Okay, that's my opinion. You get that for free. Okay, so I'm doing okay with that. I am doing okay with that. So my full face is going pretty good, and I just thank God for that. So I just got to hang in there. All right. Woo-hoo! All righty. I've done a lot of different subjects today, and starting off with the mental battles, starting off with the story of my great-grandma, on my fiance side, and, what's going on there. So I have plans, myself. I have plans. There's things I still want to do in life, and I talk about that, I talk about my financial plans of being independent. I always been independent. I always wanted to work since I was about 12 or 13. I worked. Started with summer jobs. So I always been independent, So that never was an issue with me of having my own. I always been a person that loves to have my own. I never wanted to ask or beg no one for nothing. Even when I was out there struggling, even when I was out there in a homeless state. Yes, I was homeless over a year and a half from now. I was out. I lived in the shelters. I struggled. I've been through all that, man. So, anyone that struggled and lived in shelters, and been out there, I've been there, man. I've been there. So, Joe, I didn't know that. No, of course you didn't know that, because it ain't like I called you and told you. Why? Because what I was going through, I put myself in it. Let me say that again. What I went through, I put myself in it. So I didn't go begging nobody to get me out, because by the grace of God, I knew I'd get out of it. Did it hurt? Yes, it did. Did you feel alone? Yes, I did feel alone. I couldn't feel like I never blamed, but I never blamed no one. I never made up excuses of blaming no one for helping me. Why? First of all, nobody knew I was in that situation, because I refused to tell them, because I wasn't so bad off that I couldn't help myself, because I was always working. It wasn't for a lack of me having a job while I was homeless. It was a lack of me making bad decisions, whether it was business or life decisions. I made bad decisions. But I always worked. I was always able to support myself. Now, it was times I didn't have nothing. It was times I didn't have no money. But, man, I hit those shelters. I hit those pantries like nothing. This times I didn't hit them, and I didn't eat for a couple of days, but I survived. I went to the shelter and I ate there. I often found a way. I was going to say always, but that wasn't true. I often found a way to get through. Okay. But my thing is that I always been independent. Okay. I tell you guys, whoever listen to me, I'm transparent. I tell you how I struggle mentally. Once upon a time, I couldn't do that. How I struggle sometimes mentally, even today. I struggle with my temper. I struggle with being closed in. Okay, that's all mentally. Now, physically, I struggled with being homeless. I lived in shelters. I went without food. I struggled with all that, And the positive side, I ran homeless ministries. I was in charge of homeless ministries, because, even in my struggle, I done homeless ministries. I ministered in churches. So it's been a roller coaster with me. But my point is that we do not have to give in. And we need to stop making up excuses, body of Christ. Let's stop making up excuses, because even through my troubles, even through my struggles, I did not doubt God. I doubted me. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I knew it wasn't God because I was in that situation. It was because of me. Okay? But my point is that we can get through if we trust God first before trusting ourselves. Trust God and then trust ourselves. Okay? All right. So I want to put all this in a nutshell about the mental battles. When I was telling the story about my great grandma, when I was just talking about the different ailments that we struggle with, I see it all through Facebook. People struggle through different things, man. Mentally, dementia, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, suicidal thoughts. Man, there's a lot of struggling out there within the body of Christ, within the church. It's a lot of struggling out there. Okay, so you're going to hear, all right, excuse me, but you're going to hear a lot of, it's getting late in the evening, so you're going to hear a lot of loud noise now. People coming through. Don't nobody believe in putting nothing in their ears and listen to themselves. They assume everybody want to hear their music. And to me, that's disrespectful sometimes, but that's just me, that things aggravate me quick. Okay, so let me digress. I go rambling. Let me digress. This is me. Y'all going to hear me on here. I'm going to be talking about something. I get distracted because I get distracted fast. And I need to work on that. Pray for me on that, please, y'all. Pray for me that things don't distract me fast, that I feel that's unpleasant, okay? Now, back to what I was saying, and I'm serious about that, y'all. Pray for me on that, okay? That I would grow strong when I get distracted fast. But this is what I have to put up with when I'm doing it on the outside. And this is the way it is on the outside. You're going to get those distractions. But I digress. Okay, what I was saying. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. All right, back in the land one. Okay, I encouraged myself through all my struggles, okay? It was not fun. But at the same time, I grew. Man, did I grow, man. I have learned how to deal with things. I have learned my body. I learned some of my limits. I still need to work on that, but I learned my limits, what my limits was in life, man. I've learned that, even back years ago in the 80s when I slept on the park bench, man, in Alabama. What I'm doing sleeping on the park bench? Because of bad decisions I have made, man. I've been through 2 marriages. 2 marriages, man. I've been through that, 2 marriages and everything. So, man, I've been there, man. Matter of fact, one of my marriages, my second marriage, I want to put it, I hope it's okay for her daughter, but I want to put a name out there. I want you to pray also for a young lady that I was married to named Kimberly. I want you to pray for her because she's struggling out with seizures and everything like that. That's one of my ex-wives and everything. I heard she's suffering from some mental problems herself, and I'm not seeing that, and that kind of bothered me too. So that's part of it. So keep Kimberly in mind. Pray for her. And pray for her family that she will grow strong and the Lord can move through her and her life and everything. So, that's I forgot about her, but yeah, pray for Kimberly. Her name is Kimberly. So just pray for her, Kimberly Marrow. Pray for her because she's struggling right there. Ex-friend of mine, and just she still needs prayer and she needs help, and she is a Christian. So pray for her because she's struggling real bad with mental issues, and I don't know what is it, but she's struggling. So that's I forgot to put her out there, Kimberly Marrow. Okay. Back to what I was saying. That's why this issue, what I'm talking about, is so important, because it's the ones that's close to you that's struggling with different things. They struggling for different reasons and different problems. And, you know, some of them could be, whatever the reason